front squat, front rack, box squat with chains. And why am I doing that? Let me break it down. The reason for the chains, hopefully you can see it, is it's called accommodating resistance. And honestly, I didn't appreciate this until I actually looked into it. And what accommodating resistance is resistance that increases on the concentric phase, or actually you could do it on the eccentric phase. But in this case, I am focusing on adding progressive resistance through the concentric phase of sitting off the box, or in this case, the bench. And I have 35 pounds worth of chains plus 7.5, 8 pounds of weights at the end. And that the weights on the end are just long enough on the chain where they're just kind of dangling over the ground, depending on how as long as I keep the barbell level. But as soon as I start to come down a little bit on the eccentric phase, the weight lessens and it reduces and reduces to the point where I probably only have a few pounds worth of chains left, a little bit more than a few pounds, when I'm in the seated position. But as I sit up, each link gets added to the chain, so to speak. The load gets heavier and heavier and heavier until I get to that very last bit where I'm dangling with these 7.5, 8 pounds worth of weight at the end. And then at the top of the lift, it's got a lot more weight on it. And that's when you're most tired. And the point of that is to teach you, to train you to fight through the difficult part of the lift. As the lift gets harder and harder and harder, as you're getting more fatigue and more fatigue, more fatigue, it's a great training stimulus. Personally, I prefer it, though it is slightly different than using bands. Bands have a different, I would say, tension curve or resistance curve, however you want to describe it. The chains is a little more linear, and I just prefer that. And it's just easier in my setup to do it outside of the rack, though technically that's kind of not safe. But that's why I do the accommodating resistance, in this case, chains, is because it adds that progressive resistance, adding a training stimulus to me to teach me to push harder through the harder part of the lift, which is towards the end. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching.